Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Saffira, Hieratic, Tzolkin deck profile. So I'm super excited for this one, because I just recently got some Ultimate Rare Sapfiras to do this deck profile, and I am really excited for this, because Hieratics are one of the decks that you can actually throw a bunch of different decks together and actually make a really cool variant of this deck, like making Hungry Burger, making Saffira. I even made a Horus the Black Flame Dragon version of this, pure rank 8. There's just so many different ways to actually play Hieratics. It's amazing. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out that Patreon down in the description below, because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed card sent to the mail, or even getting a requested deck profile just like this one every single month that you're our patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Saffira, Queen of Dragons, which I believe is actually a reference to the Aragon books, where they actually, one of the main dragon is actually named Saffira, which is one of my favorite book series of all time. But what this card does is you can ritual summon this card with the Harem and Light, and then during your end phase, if this card was ritual summoned this turn, or if a light monster was sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, you get to activate one of these effects. Either draw 2 and discard 1, discard a random card from your opponent's hand, or add a light monster from your graveyard to your hand, which is a really good effect to be able to use to be able to trigger on your turn. We then play 3 copies of Hieratic Dragon of Txne, which is basically a cyber dragon that lets you special summon it from your hand if you control no monsters and your opponent controls a monster, which is a really good effect to be able to just do. And all of your Hieratic monsters share the ability that if they're tributed, then you can special summon from your hand, deck, or graveyard a normal dragon monster to your side of the field and make its attack and defense 0/0. We then play 3 copies of Hieratic Dragon of Su. Hieratic Dragon of Su has the ability that you contribute a Hieratic monster to immediately special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field. And then once per turn, you contribute a Hieratic monster, except this card, from your hand or your side of the field to target a spell or trap on your opponent's side of the field and destroy it. So essentially gets you 1 special summon off of summoning this, and then another special summon if you pop the spell or trap, which is really good with getting you 2 vanilla dragon monsters on your side of the field at the same time. 3 copies of Nebthet. It does the exact same thing as Su, except you contribute monsters to pop monsters on your side of the field instead of spells or traps, which is really good. 3 copies of Eset. Eset's probably the best normal summon and the one that you want to get in your hand quickly, because what this card does is it has the ability that you can normal summon this card without tributing, and it becomes 1,000 on your side of the field, which is really, really cool when you normal summon it. It's an awesome card to summon, and also you have the ability that you can target one of your normal monsters to make all of your Hieratic monsters the same level as that normal monster. So if I were to target a card like my Labradorite Dragon on my side of the field, I can make all my Hieratic monsters go to level 6 to be able to go for XYZ plays, and go for Tzolkin a lot easier if I have my Eset Nebthet on my side of the field, either or. We then play 2 copies of Dragard. Now you would think with Dragard that you'd make this a level 8 monster, but that's not what you're trying to do with this. You're trying to make easy XYZ play, or not XYZ plays, but link plays with this card. When it's normal summoned, you get to target a normal monster with 1,000 or less attack in your graveyard and special summon that monster from your graveyard, which is really good to be able to do. But what you're trying to do with this effect is just to get them on your side of the field to link them away for your Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. Mainly, that's the big play that you're trying to do with this card. 1 copy of Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon. You can remove from play a dragon to special summon this card from your hand. And then once per turn, per Red Eyes, because it now has its errata, you can special summon 1 dragon monster from your hand or graveyard. So it does have its errata now. We can only use its effect once per turn per name effect. We then play for our vanillas. We're playing a single copy of Labradorite Dragon because it's a tuner monster and it's the main way that you go for Tzolkin. Wattail Dragon because it is a level 6 monster that helps us go for our XYZ plays. And a single copy of Galaxy Serpent because it's also a tuner monster and helps us go for our Draco Berserker of the Txne, which is a really, really awesome monster, and it's a dragon monster. Well, Draco Berserker's a worm, but this is a dragon. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn, which is super helpful in this deck because you're trying to get extenders on your side of the field. Because essentially what you're trying to do is get like Void Ogre Beals on your side of the field with a copy of maybe a Appaloosa or something like that to protect you from monster effects, spell effects, and trap effects, it comes in super handy to be able to go into those sorts of plays and just use this as an extender. One copy of Dragon's Mirror, which is a really good card in this deck to go for an amazing old school boss monster, which is 5-headed dragon. This card is insanely good. It's a 5k beat stick, and you're going to put all those dragons in the graveyard really fast, so it's might as well go ahead and summon out your 5-headed dragon with this card. It's really easy to go off with. We then play 2 copies of the Claw of Hermos, which is an amazing card that we actually play in this deck. A lot of people look over this card and go, ugh, the Claw of Hermos, but it's a really insane card because you actually summon one target in this deck, which is your Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. Now, the Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword is a card we'll get into later, but basically increases the attack of your monsters and becomes an amazing equip spell that boosts up all your monsters, or boosts up your one particular monster to help you OTK your opponent. 3 copies of the Hieratic Seal of Convocation. Hieratic Seal of Convocation is really good in this deck because it searches literally any Hieratic that you need from your deck to your hand. It can search out your Tefnuit, your Eset, Nebthet, Su, anyone that you need. This card's got you. 3 copies of Harbon of Light. This card is really good because it basically lets you ritual summon into your copy of Saffira, which is the way that this card really works. And it also has the ability that you must also treat monsters from your hand or field whose total level equals 6 or more. And if a ritual monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can banish it instead. So it's kind of like Return of the Dragon Lords for your Saffira. We then play 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites. Pre-Preparation of Rites searches the light ritual spell and your copy of Saffira directly from your deck to your hand, just for activating the copy of Pre-Prep of Rites, which is amazing to be able to just get those cards directly to your hand. And then for the last 3 spells, we're playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave, because the 3 copies of Call by the Grave just come in so handy to be able to just set and activate your copy of Tzolkin and activate the effect of Call by the Grave to stop your opponent's hand traps. Now, something that's really interesting about this is you want to play this level of amount of spells in this deck and with a couple of traps, because Tzolkin triggers when you set a spell or trap to special summon out a Synchro Dragon that's level 7 or level 8 from your extra deck. So that's something to keep in mind about this deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, I am playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment, which the judgments are extremely important for this deck because you can set up a Tzolkin with a copy of something like either Void Ogre or Crystal Wing or Beals on your turn and set up a field with either or of the 3 of these monsters on your side of the field with a backup of a judgment that your opponent is not going to usually play through. You can essentially set up with 2 disruptions with a Crystal Wing or a Void Ogre and a judgment to negate a spell or a monster effect or anything with this particular lineup, and that's why I play it the way that I do, is because the judgments come in super handy and super clutch, especially when you get multiple copies of judgment and you can set 2 disruptions that are always going to be live, because you always have half to pay if you're still playing the game. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing a single copy of Ultimate Tzolkin. Ultimate Tzolkin, we've kind of already gone over its effect, but basically it cannot be special. It cannot be Synchro Summon. You must special summon this card by sending a tuner and a non-tuner monster that are the same level from your deck, or from your side of the field to the graveyard. So if I send a copy of my Labradorite Dragon that's a 6 and a copy of Tefnuit that's a 6 from my field to the graveyard, I can immediately summon out my Tzolkin. So it's essentially like Synchro Summoning for 12 when you summon this card, and it's treated as a level 12 Synchro monster. That's the big thing about this card. It's super easy to summon, and then every time you set a spell or trap once per turn, you can immediately special summon from your extra deck a copy of your Synchro Dragon monsters, which is really, really, really good. We then play a single copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which is really good in the deck as well because it negates spells or traps. You're never going to legitimately summon this. You're always going to summon it off your copy of your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Beals, because it's pretty much invincible on your side of the field. It can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Your opponent has to remove it from play, has to bounce it, has to do something like that to get rid of it, and every time you take battle damage, it gains attack equal to the amount that you took in life points, which is really good. Void Ogre, because you can burn through your hand really fast in this deck to be able to get Void Ogre where it's live. If you can set, you're usually going to summon all the monsters that are in your hand and then set your back row to be able to trigger Void Ogre's effect to be able to negate spells or traps once per turn. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, because it's going to be able to board wipe your entire opponent's board by basically just destroying as many as possible and inflicting 800 points of damage to your opponent, or not 800 but 500 for every monster it destroys, which is really, really good. Draco Berserker, because it negates, or it doesn't negate, but it destroys and banishes anything that is activated once per turn. When a monster effect is activated, it just banishes the monster, which is extremely good. Now, something to keep in mind about this card is, yes, it is a not a dragon, so you can't special summon it off of Ultimate Tzolkin, but you can special summon it with Galaxy Serpent and synchro summon the Galaxy Serpent with another monster on your side of the field in order to get out your Draco Berserker. One copy of Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon is something that I sometimes legitimately summon out with Galaxy Serpent, Nebthet, or Eset, and blow board if I need to. Also, this card can be special summoned off the copy of Tzolkin, but I usually never do. Then for the XYZ monsters, we are going to be playing just a couple in here, and then it's going to be Gaia Charger for the copy of Hieratic Dragon of Atum. Atum is insane, and that is awesome, that artwork reflection with that flash on the camera. That is amazing. It looks gorgeous. But what this card is once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, and then special summon a dragon monster from your deck and make its attack event 0/0. Which is usually going to be your copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal that you're going to summon off this effect. Number 39, Utopia. When it's summoned, it makes all of your monsters, all of your opponent's monsters go to 0 attack, which is really awesome. And then during either player's turn, you can detach a material from this card, target a face-up XYZ monster you control, and one Utopia monster in your graveyard, and banish the first target. If you do, special summon the second target, and then gain 2550, which you don't play any other Utopia monsters. You basically summon this and reduce all the opponent's monsters' attacks to 0 and OTK your opponent. Five-Headed Dragon or Five-God Dragon is a really awesome card in this deck because you summon it with Dragon's Mirror, and it just really helps you OTK your opponent, summoning a 5k beat stick. One copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. This card, when it's summoned, equips itself to one of your monsters and has the ability that it makes the monster go up by 1,000 attack, and then 500 attack for each dragon monster in your graveyard. So if you have like 5 or 6 dragons, it's going up by 25 to 3,000 attack, plus the additional 1,000 attack that it's gaining off of the Black Dragon Sword's initial effect. So you're essentially looking at around 4,000 attack with 5 to 6 dragons in your graveyard, which is usually going to happen. Just to get to Tzolkin, you're going to have 2, plus the one you send off of this. That's 1,500 right there. Plus the 1,000 it's gaining is 2,500. So you're already looking at 2,500 with just Tzolkin on the field. Equipping it to like a Void Ogre or something like that, you're going to boost your Void Ogre to well over 5,000 attack. We're playing a single copy of Appaloosa because it's really easy to make and to back up your other plays. The Appaloosa is really nice to summon to your side of the field. Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps just in case you need to. And Hieratic Dragon Sphere of the Heavenly Spheres is really good in here because you can bounce an opponent's card and then special summon a dragon from your deck, but make it 0/0. So, really awesome deck. Highly recommend you guys give it a try. It's very similar to the Hungry Burger deck because of the way that it functions with it being a Hieratic deck. If you guys want to play a different version of this, definitely check out the Hungry Burger deck. I've done an Ultimaya Hieratic Horus deck also, and if you guys want to see an update to that, definitely let me know down in the comments down below. That's a really fun variant of the deck. So anyways guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out that Patreon down in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later guys.